My mom told me, you were supposed to be a miscarriage. So I became an OBGYN saving lives, and she's now my patient who doesn't know I'm her doctor. Please take a second to support our channel, hit subscribe and drop a comment saying where you're watching from. You're part of this story too. I was 12 years old, standing in our cramped Detroit kitchen, when my mother said the words that would define my entire existence. You know what, Imani? You were supposed to be a miscarriage. I tried everything to get rid of you, but you just wouldn't die. She didn't even look up from her phone as she said it, scrolling through Facebook like she'd just commented on the weather. My older brother Marcus froze mid-bite of his sandwich, eyes wide. The hum of our broken refrigerator suddenly seemed deafening. I remember the crack in the linoleum floor beneath my feet, shaped like a lightning bolt. I stared at it, unable to process what I'd just heard. Excuse me. My voice came out small, broken. She finally glanced up, annoyed. Don't be so dramatic, Imani. I'm just being honest. I was 17, scared and alone. Your father left the second I told him. I drank, I jumped off tables, I did everything. Her voice was casual, matter-of-fact, like she was describing a failed recipe. But here you are, ruining my life anyway. The words hung in the air like poison. Marcus stood up, his chair scraping against the floor. Ma, what the hell is wrong with you? She waved him off. Oh please, Marcus. You were planned. You were wanted. She's different. That night, lying in my twin bed with its faded purple sheets, I made a decision. If I was supposed to die before I even had a chance to live, then I'd spend my life making sure other babies got the chance I almost didn't have. After that day, my mother's cruelty became a daily ritual. Every mistake I made, every B on a report card, every pound I gained, it all came back to me being her biggest regret. At 13, I started working at Mr. Chen's corner store after school, saving every dollar in a shoebox under my bed. Marcus tried to protect me, but he was dealing with his own demons. Our mother showered him with praise while treating me like a ghost who ate her food and took up space. Why can't you be more like your brother? She'd snap when I forgot to take out the trash. At least he was worth the stretch marks. The neighborhood knew something was wrong. Mrs. Patterson next door would slip me plates of food, her eyes filled with pity I pretended not to see. You eating enough, baby? She'd ask, and I'd lie with a smile. At school, I buried myself in biology textbooks, fascinated by the miracle of life. How cells divided, how hearts formed, how against all odds, a cluster of cells became a person. I became obsessed with understanding exactly what my mother had tried to destroy. My science teacher, Ms. Rodriguez, noticed my intensity. Imani, you have a gift, she told me after class one day, her brown eyes warm. Don't let anyone tell you different. But at home I was nothing. My mother would introduce me to her friends with a laugh. This is Imani, my little surprise. And not the good kind. They'd laugh uncomfortably while I stood there, dying inside. The summer I turned 15, Marcus came home at 2 in the morning, drunk and crying. I found him on the porch steps, head in his hands. I can't do this anymore, Moni, he sobbed, using his nickname for me. I can't keep pretending everything's okay. I sat beside him, the June humidity making my pajamas stick to my skin. Crickets chirped in the overgrown grass our mother never maintained. What happened? He looked at me with red, swollen eyes. She told me why she treats you like that. She said when she looks at you she sees him. Your father. Said you got his eyes, his attitude, his ability to ruin everything. My stomach twisted. So I'm being punished for looking like someone I never met? Marcus grabbed my hand, his grip desperate. It's not fair. None of this is fair. You're the smartest, kindest person I know, and she treats you like trash. He pulled out a crumpled envelope from his pocket. I've been accepted to Michigan State. Full ride. I leave in August. The words hit me like a slap. You're leaving me here? Alone with her? Come with me, he said urgently. We'll figure it out. I'll get a job, we'll get an apartment. Marcus, you're 18. I'm 15. They'd bring me right back. He knew I was right. We sat in silence, both understanding that our paths were diverging. Just survive 3 more years, he whispered. Then run and never look back. Junior year, my mother got pregnant. At 33, she was glowing, excited, transformed into someone I didn't recognize. She painted the spare room yellow, bought tiny clothes, talked endlessly about finally getting it right. The implication was clear. I was the rough draft and this baby was her masterpiece. I watched her rub her belly with genuine love and something inside me withered. This was what maternal affection looked like and I'd never experienced a fraction of it. This time will be different, she cooed to her reflection. This baby will be wanted. I was standing right there. She knew I could hear her. Her boyfriend, Darnell, was a decent guy who seemed uncomfortable with how she treated me. Maybe you should ease up on Imani, I heard him say one night. She's a good kid. My mother's response was sharp. Don't tell me how to raise my mistake. But at 7 months something went wrong. I came home from my shift at the store to find her on the bathroom floor, hemorrhaging, screaming. Darnell was on a construction job 3 hours away. I didn't hesitate. I called 911, grabbed towels, kept her conscious while we waited. You're going to be okay, I told her, applying pressure like I'd learned in health class. Both of you. She looked at me through tears, genuinely scared. Imani, I can't lose this baby. You won't, I promised, though I had no idea if that was true. In the ambulance, she gripped my hand for the first time in years. At Detroit Memorial Hospital, I watched doctors and nurses move with purposeful precision, saving my mother and her baby. A black female doctor named Dr. Clark led the team, her voice calm and authoritative. Placental abruption, she explained. We need to deliver now. I sat in the waiting room for 4 hours, doing homework under fluorescent lights, until Darnell finally arrived, panicked and out of breath. Where is she? Is the baby? Emergency C-section. They're both stable now. When we saw them, my mother was drowsy but alive, and my baby sister, Zara they named her, was tiny but fighting in the NICU. Dr. Clark found me staring through the glass at the premature babies in their isolettes, hooked up to wires and tubes. You saved them both, she said gently. Your quick thinking made the difference. I just did what anyone would do. No, she corrected. You did what someone who cares does. Are you interested in medicine? I looked at her, this poised, competent woman who'd just performed a miracle. I want to be exactly like you. She smiled and handed me her card. Then start preparing now. If you're serious, email me. I mentor pre-med students. Over the next 3 days, my mother didn't thank me once. She was too focused on Zara, her real daughter. Darnell pulled me aside. Your mom told me what you did. That was brave. It's fine, I lied. But it wasn't fine. I'd saved the baby she loved more than me, and somehow that hurt worse than anything. When my mother brought Zara home, I became the live-in nanny. At 17, I was changing diapers at 3 a.m. while studying for the SAT, making bottles while memorizing anatomy terms. Imani, she's crying, my mother would yell from her bedroom, refusing to get up. I'd stumble in, exhausted, and care for my sister while my mother scrolled through her phone. Zara was innocent, beautiful, and I loved her fiercely despite the circumstances. But the resentment built like pressure in my chest. Marcus called every week from college, guilt evident in his voice. How bad is it? She treats me like the help, I admitted during one call, whispering from the bathroom. But Marcus, Zara's amazing. She doesn't deserve to grow up in this toxic mess. Neither did you, Moni. The breaking point came at my high school graduation. I'd earned a full scholarship to Wayne State University's pre-med program, a miracle of hard work and Dr. Clark's mentorship. I was valedictorian despite everything. My mother showed up late, Zara on her hip, complaining about parking. During my speech she was on her phone. At the reception Mrs. Patterson hugged me tight. "I'm so proud of you, baby. You're going to be someone." My mother overheard and scoffed. "She's going to waste 4 years pretending she's smart enough for medical school." I turned slowly, something snapping inside me. "I'm done," I said quietly. "After today we're done." She laughed. "You'll be back. Where else would you go?" "Anywhere but here." Wayne State pre-med was brutal. While other students struggled with organic chemistry, I struggled with having enough to eat. I worked 3 part-time jobs: library aide, coffee shop barista, weekend phlebotomy tech at the same hospital where Dr. Clark worked. I slept 4 hours a night, survived on ramen and determination. My mother occasionally texted, "Can you send money? Zara needs diapers." I always sent $50 I couldn't afford, knowing it probably went to my mother's nails. Marcus sent what he could, but he was building his own life, engaged to a woman named Keisha. Dr. Clark became my unofficial guardian angel. She wrote recommendations, let me shadow her in the OB ward, and occasionally slipped me grocery store gift cards. "You remind me of myself," she told me during a rare coffee break. "Hungry to prove everyone wrong. Is the hunger ever satisfied?" I asked. She smiled sadly. "You tell me in 20 years. I watched her deliver babies, handle complications, comfort terrified mothers. This was what I wanted. To be present at the moment of miracle, to ensure every baby got the fighting chance I'd had. My MCAT scores were exceptional, 99th percentile. I applied to 10 medical schools and got into 7, choosing the University of Michigan's program for its renowned OBGYN track. The day my acceptance letter arrived, I called Marcus, crying. "You did it, Monty. You actually did it." I didn't call my mother. She'd made her opinion clear. I was chasing an impossible dream, wasting everyone's time. Medical school was 4 years of controlled chaos. I excelled in obstetrics, gravitating toward high-risk pregnancies. Every complicated case felt personal. Every mother I reassured, every baby I helped save. It was redemption for the unwanted child I'd been. During my 3rd year, Darnell called. "Imani, I thought you should know. Your mother and I split up. I tried to get custody of Zara, but..." His voice cracked. "She's poisoning that little girl against everyone. I'm so sorry." Zara was now 6 and I'd barely seen her. My mother had made it clear. I wasn't welcome unless I was sending money. "Does Zara ask about me?" I whispered. "All the time. Your mother tells her you abandoned them." The lie gutted me, but I channeled the pain into my work. I matched at Northwestern Memorial Hospital in Chicago for my OBGYN residency, one of the most prestigious programs in the country. Dr. Clark flew out for my white coat ceremony. "I knew you'd make it," she said, tears in her eyes. "Now go be brilliant." Residency was 80-hour weeks of delivering babies, handling emergencies, learning to make life or death decisions. I developed a reputation: calm under pressure, exceptional with high-risk cases, genuinely caring with patients. Attendings wrote glowing evaluations. Patients requested me specifically. By my final year, I'd delivered over 300 babies and hadn't lost a single mother. At 29, I completed my fellowship in maternal fetal medicine and accepted a position back in Detroit. I was coming home. Detroit Medical Center offered me an attending position with a specialty in high-risk obstetrics. I bought a small house in Palmer Woods, far from my childhood neighborhood, and decorated it with care. Everything my mother's house wasn't: clean, organized, peaceful. On my first day, the chief of OBGYN, Dr. Okafor, walked me through the department. "We're lucky to have you, Dr. Green. Your publications on placental complications are groundbreaking." Dr. Green. After everything, I'd made it. My fourth patient that first week was a chart marked urgent consultation. Placenta previa, history of abruption, high risk. I reviewed the file. Female, 48, 20 weeks pregnant, previous cesarean, multiple risk factors. The name didn't register until I walked into the examination room. My mother sat on the table, older, heavier, looking nervous. She didn't recognize me. Why would she? I was in a white coat, my hair in a professional bun, wearing makeup and glasses I hadn't needed as a teenager. I was Dr. Imani Green, not the unwanted daughter she'd discarded. Mrs. Thompson? I used her married name from the chart. She'd remarried. Yes. Thank you for seeing me, doctor. I'm really scared. I looked at her chart with clinical detachment, my heart hammering. She was pregnant again at 48, a geriatric pregnancy with significant complications. The baby was wanted. Her notes mentioned miracle baby and last chance. The irony wasn't lost on me. I maintained perfect professional composure. "Tell me about your pregnancy history." My mother recounted her 3 pregnancies. Marcus, described as perfect, no complications. Zara, premature but healthy. And one she glossed over, a difficult pregnancy in my teens, but the baby was fine despite everything. Me. I was the baby that was fine despite everything. Despite her trying to terminate me. Despite years of neglect. Despite being told I was a mistake every single day. "And this pregnancy?" I asked, my voice steady. "I'm scared, doctor. I'm older now and they're saying there's so many risks. My husband, Gerald, and I tried for 5 years. This is our miracle." She started crying and I felt nothing. "I can't lose this baby. After everything I've been through, I deserve this happiness." After everything she'd been through. I wanted to laugh. Instead, I conducted a thorough ultrasound. The baby was measuring small and her placenta was dangerously positioned. Complete previa covering the cervix entirely. "Mrs. Thompson, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. Your age, medical history, and the placenta previa make this extremely high risk. You'll need weekly monitoring, possible hospitalization, and definitely a scheduled cesarean. There's significant risk of hemorrhage." She paled. "But the baby will be okay? If you follow my instructions exactly and we're vigilant, you have a good chance." He grabbed my hand, desperate. "Please, Dr. Green, save my baby. I'll do anything." Over the next 12 weeks, my mother became my patient. She came to every appointment, always anxious, always grateful for Dr. Green's expertise. She talked about her life, her fears, her hopes. She mentioned her other children in passing. "My son's a project manager in Ann Arbor. My daughter Zara just graduated high school. So smart. And I had another daughter, but we don't speak." She abandoned the family. I stayed professional, but each appointment was torture. She'd lost weight, looked exhausted, clearly stressed about the pregnancy. Part of me, the doctor part, genuinely wanted to save this baby. It wasn't the child's fault. But another part, the wounded daughter part, wanted to ask, "Do you remember telling your 12-year-old she was supposed to die?" At 28 weeks, she hemorrhaged during a routine ultrasound. I called the code, rushed her to surgery, performed an emergency cesarean with my team. The baby, a boy she'd planned to name Gerald Jr., was critically premature but alive. I worked for 3 hours, managing the hemorrhage, repairing damage, saving her life. When she woke in recovery, groggy and scared, I stood beside her bed. "Your son is in the NICU. He's a fighter. You're going to be okay." She started crying. "Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Green. You saved us both. The parallel to Zara's birth wasn't lost on me. That's my job, Mrs. Thompson. Gerald, her husband, arrived. A kind-looking man in his 50s who clearly adored her. 3 weeks later, at a follow-up appointment, my mother brought baby Gerald, now stable and home from NICU. She also brought Zara, now 18 and stunning. My sister didn't recognize me either. Dr. Green, this is my youngest, Zara. She's starting college in the fall for biology. Wants to be a doctor like you. Zara smiled shyly. I've always been fascinated by medicine. My heart broke and soared simultaneously. That's wonderful. What inspired you? My older sister, actually. I barely remember her, but my mom told me she tried to go to medical school. She dropped out and disappeared, but I always wondered what she could have been if she'd been stronger. The lie was so casual, so complete. I looked at my mother, who nodded sadly, playing the victim. Some people just aren't cut out for the difficult path. Something in my expression must have changed because Zara frowned. Dr. Green, are you okay? I need to speak with Mrs. Thompson privately, I said quietly. Zara, could you wait outside? When we were alone, I locked the door. My mother looked confused. Is something wrong? I removed my glasses, let down my hair. Look at me, Mama. Really look. It took 30 seconds. Then her face went white. Imani. Hello, Mother. Surprise. I didn't drop out. I didn't disappear. I became exactly what I said I would, despite every horrible thing you did to destroy me. And you've been my patient for 3 months. My mother's mouth opened and closed, speechless. Color drained from her face. You knew? This whole time. Every single appointment. I kept my voice level, clinical. You sat in my examination room crying about your miracle baby, begging me to save you. The same woman who told her 12-year-old daughter she tried to miscarry her. Who spent 17 years making me feel worthless. She reached for me, tears forming. Imani, I saved your life, Mama. I saved your son's life. Not because you deserved it, but because that's who I am. That baby is innocent just like I was. Just like Zara is. My voice cracked. You told Zara I dropped out? That I was too weak. I didn't know what else to say. How about the truth? That you abused me, that I worked 3 jobs to put myself through school, that I became a doctor despite you, not because of you. The door handle rattled. Zara's voice. Mom? Dr. Green? What's happening? I opened the door. My little sister stood there, confused, beautiful, on the edge of her own life. Zara, I'm your sister. Imani. Her eyes widened in shock. I handed her my business card with my full name. Everything she told you was a lie. I didn't drop out. I'm a board-certified OBGYN, and I just saved our mother's life. I looked at my mother one final time. I'm referring you to Dr. Michaels for continued care. I can't be your doctor anymore. Conflict of interest. But know this, I won. You tried to kill me before I was born. You tried to break me my entire childhood, and I still became everything I said I would. That's my revenge. Living well, saving lives, being everything you said I couldn't be. I walked toward the elevator. Behind me, Zara called out, "Wait. Please." I stopped, turned. My sister had tears streaming down her face. Can I get to know you? The real you. I smiled through my own tears. I'd love that. As the elevator doors closed, I saw my mother collapsed in Gerald's arms, finally confronting the daughter she'd tried to destroy, who'd become the doctor who saved her life. Some stories don't end with forgiveness. Some end with survival, success, and the quiet power of proving everyone wrong. I didn't need her apology. I had something better. A life worth living, patients who trusted me, and a sister who deserved to know the truth. That 12-year-old girl standing in that Detroit kitchen, being told she should have died? She didn't just survive. She thrived. And that's the greatest revenge of all.